Hi, welcome to the video. 99 problems but a Supe Ain't One. This is the answer to A Germ's challenge of making a team without any superstars, as superstars are too often a limiting factor and an unfair advantage in teams being competitive, especially for new players. Defensively, we are zoned because without supers, it is likely that we are going to give up turnovers or touchdowns no matter what, so we might as well go for turnovers. Offensively, we are balanced, giving us flexibility to adapt to any defense we may face. The most significant difference from a standard team is that due to no supers and so much cap space, we actually have two quarterbacks, one for zone and one for man. The other benefit from the salaries is that the most important players can all be on a high contract, thus saving a lot of points spent on heart and letting certain positions, like the kicker and punter, reach very high heart values that would otherwise be too expensive to justify. So, in alphabetical order, this is the roster. The builds, feel free to pause at any time. The center, it's just a balanced offensive line, nothing special. This one doesn't have a backup, so it has max toughness. Three cornerbacks focused on the pass, with priority on good mobility to cover large zones effectively. One of them, this one, is specialized more in run defense, which will be the number one cornerback in one wide receiver in trips, and the number two strong side cornerback in two wide receiver when facing strong outside run heavy teams. The defensive end and defensive tackle are similar, three of each, primarily pass rush focused, since zone needs to force quick passes to get ints underneath and avoid letting passes get to the deep zones. We took spin because it's cheap, and we have no superstars, and it pairs nicely with shed block as they are both footwork based. Zone has weaker inside run defense and benefits a lot from shed block. Three of each for rotational depth to save energy. I don't go tackling on defensive linemen, since the broken tackles just get cleaned up by linebackers anyways. The fullback, we have two speed backs, so the fullback is similar to Spamalot's, with an emphasis on conditioning and mobility, and then awareness. Disrupting the defender is enough that the running back can do the rest. We have two free safeties, identical builds, rotating to conserve energy, since they run so much. The primary focus is on speed, some pass defense, and solid but not amazing tackling, since run defense is more of a team effort, even with powerbacks. We do, however, go max pursuit for good angles, and dealing with the currently best type of running back, which is elusives. The guards, max toughness as well because no backups, balanced build, but mostly a focus on outside run blocking because it is a core part of any offense. And guards are better at this than centers. So we have three running backs, including one power back. This is our power back. This one will be the starter when the playbook is to run inside on first down, and he will also start against teams that are bad against power backs. Otherwise, this will be our third string backup. We are selling out to not fumble because turnovers kill offenses worse than giving up whatever yardage it costs to take points in these. This back can potentially play special teams in games where they are the third stringer. But when this back is the starting running back, we have a special dedicated kick returner to handle kick return duty. We have two elusives. This is two of these. These are a home run threat. We need to keep defenses honest with the outside run. Both elusives and powerbacks can run inside just as well, so you don't need to specialize for that. 99 speed. The running backs need to be able to carry an entire game if we choose to go all run or close to it, so we have three of them for a lot of energy. Kicker is pretty standard. Does streaky work? Who knows? But I'm at least banking on it being functional by the time we get to vet. This is our kick returner. A home run threat focuses on not fumbling as much as possible. These both give carry grip. This is why it's not a power back. Normally I go power back kick returners, but they fumble too much. If fumbles do become a problem, we can trade out some of this sprint for more elusive running, and they will be running on elusive style, so Based on what I've seen from other teams that run elusive returners, this even without a 100 carry grip, this one should not fumble as much as a power back. This is our blitzing linebacker. We have one of them. They only blitz. The emphasis is on the pass rush, since zone's greatest strength is pass pressure, leading to quick interceptions. This one's fast enough to pursue a play from behind. We have 4 of these coverage linebackers. Zone tends to be weak to runs, so these are much more run focused with gold shed block than normal coverage linebackers, and then very high quickness to bait the quarterback. They don't really sell out to do anything in particular. They are made to be pretty balanced. And then our 5th coverage linebacker is a more heavily run-focused one. They play the middle linebacker spot in zones that rarely see passes, such as the middle of the field and 4 wide receiver, since there are very few passes to that particular zone, and there are a lot of runs to that zone. So this player will start against run-heavy teams and teams that have more problematic power backs, but for the most part will be a specialist for certain formations. This is our standard punter. We might go for more conditioning. I am currently testing whether it helps with punt distance. And then our 2 quarterbacks. This is our man defense quarterback. Focused, it's a pretty standard quarterback on maximizing catch and traffic. Throws very catchable passes, high accuracy, high consistency, high tech. Obviously high heart and leadership for when we run. This particular build favors throws of about 10 yards, keeping the chains moving. High pocket awareness, since our offensive line is not particularly specialized in pass blocking. Pairs nicely with on the run, even though it conflicts with thread the needle. Still a very valuable gold essay. This is our zone quarterback. Much more awareness and power focused than the man quarterback. Finds the open man quickly, pump fakes the defender with gold pump fake, then lasers the pass in before they can recover. This one's much better at throwing over the top. Otherwise, not terribly different. They can rotate within a game, but generally speaking, this one will probably start the entire game against zone. So 2 strong safeties, just like the free safeties, very similar builds, but with much more pass defense, gold eyes on the prize, cover expert, much more interception, as they usually play over top of the tight end, and tight ends are built to be more of a passing threat. So we have 3 tight ends. This is the first one. This one is our starter against man defense. This is a contested catch specialist, pairing with the man defense quarterback. Pretty standard catch and traffic type build. Even with the recent nerfs, it still should do fine. This is our second tight end. This is the starter when we go a heavy run. Can still catch pretty well and serve as a backup and a second tight end in heavy sets, but really specializes in blocking and converting third downs due to high consistency of all types. So this is more of a possession offense player, but still part of the rotation in all games. This is our third tight end. This is our starter against zone defense. This particular build specializes in getting past the linebackers as quickly as possible, with the condition of not giving up too much catching ability or blocking. As a non-superstar tight end, you don't have a whole lot of points to go around, so they do have high snap reaction, quickness first step, but not terribly high sprinting. You can only get so much, but I didn't want them to be too fast and not catch the ball or not be able to block and not be able to serve as a backup, so this is the most balanced we could make it. It's better at catching an open space, though, due to high hands over catch and traffic because of zone. So we have 4 offensive tackles, sets of 2, based on whether the plan is to run or pass on first down. The set that doesn't start will be frequent backups, but not aggressive. Possibly even less than that. So this is the pass offensive tackles. If we're passing on first down, their focus is on not getting beat to the edge. Leverage to prevent sidestep pushes from things like tunnel or just high tech. A lot of defensive ends will get pass pressure or sacks, just not necessarily on getting a rev kick or a spin, but just on pushing the offensive tackle out of the way just enough to accelerate past them. Leverage prevents that. It's actually much more frequent than perhaps one might think. Mobility doubles as being helpful in the run game and is a better use of points, in my opinion, than just adding more pass blocking. Also helps when other offensive linemen get beat to slide over. Very high awareness, pretty high snap reaction. And some teams actually don't run edge defenders with pass rush skills at all. They just run speed rushers. So a build like this helps with that. These are our run-focused offensive tackles. Pretty normal build. Decent backups when passing. Leverage is not good at bronze in my opinion, so I took absolute unit instead. This is excellent on third downs, even in pass-first games, due to very high block consistency and pull spec, because oftentimes you find yourself running on third down, especially outside if you're pass first. And since if we are passing first on first down, generally by the time he gets a third down, it will probably sub in this player, which means that the consistency has nice synergy there. So we have 3 wide receivers. Maybe not enough, but we ran out of space at some point. Less of a priority for me. 2 pass-focused and 1 run-first. This is the pass-focused one. It's a balanced build with emphasis on 2 things. Catching traffic for man defense and quickly getting to the second level against zone defense with first step. They are much slower than a true speedster with only 37 sprint, but the high quickness and the first step make up for it somewhat. They don't need to necessarily beat you down the field. They just need to get past the underneath zones. Bronze hard cut and sure-footed for the balance refill. Bronze resolute for run blocking against shed block. I tend to call outside runs on third downs and the end of the half. So most of the run blocking is in the form of consistency, since it's much cheaper than tech or power. This is our run-first wide receiver who starts in games where we run on first downs. Still a pretty decent pass catcher that can function as a backup to the others. But they are much slower, so the better receivers will get more targets. They can also be put last in QB reads to start at certain positions, like the wide receiver 2 and 2 wide receiver that have significant outside run threat to one particular side of the formation. So 2 wide, usually you don't run to the weak side, you run to the strong side. If you put them last in the progression or close to it, you will find that the quarterback will prioritize the tight end wide receiver 1 almost all the time and will almost never throw the wide receiver 2, allowing you to put a block-heavy, strong possession-type receiver for run blocking on the strong side. And that's the plan. We don't have the star power to force anything, so we compensate for a weaker roster with depth, specialists, and builds that truly shine when the plays match. Thank you for watching.